City TV is live. On DSTV, go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily on City TV.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful day.
That was Chemfe.
Yes, that is absolutely gorgeous music by somebody who is so experienced. He has such a talent, you know. And I guess a lot of people have been wondering, where has Chemfe been? Where has he been? Well, you see the reincarnated Chemfe. He's a gospel musician. It's beautiful. I love it.
I love him. Like, every morning we start this show with our quote of the day, but before that, my name is Jipa Eke Ametam.
And I'm David Kwekusechi.
It's an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear from you.
Yes, and our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you happen to be outside the shores of Ghana, kindly use +233.
Let's take a look at our quote of the day.
Yeah. So the quote of the day today comes from an anonymous person, and he says, do one thing every day that scares you. Do one thing every day that scares you. Now, this quote for me is particularly exciting because I remember back in 2014, a mentor friend of mine said to me, I was asking about progress in life, okay, and he says this: if you have 3 opportunities, right, that are in front of you, choose the scariest one. Because he says that the more scary it is, the more benefit there is at the end of it if you're able to go through it.
Definitely.
You know, so this quote of the day is perfect. You know, it just sums up my experience from there. And that was just before I launched into something, you know, that I had never done before. And yeah, it was exciting.
So the greater the risk, the greater the result.
Yes.
What is it? What is it called?
The greater the risk, the greater the benefits.
The benefits.
Yes.
The greater the benefits.
Yes.
So take great risk and you go for the benefits. Now, Corona is still around.
Yep.
We're recording more positive cases. We've now made our way into the 90s as far as people who have unfortunately
passed on.
Yeah. And we're asking everyone to be safe. Last week, final year, university students went back to school. This Monday, final year, SHS students
went back to
school. And next week, Monday, final year, GHS students will go back to school. And a lot of us were asking questions about how schools are being resourced. Is there a way schools can get all the resources they need before they even reopen school, right? Because it's one thing to say we're going to distribute PPE to the schools, another thing for them to actually receive them. And then we received news yesterday that national service personnel at the Accra Technical University has coronavirus. And as sad as it is, I was really proud of the school for the way they handled it. I mean, they issued a statement letting the general public of the school know that this is what has happened. I don't think they should have mentioned the exact department, but okay, they mentioned the department that the worker was from, and the steps they've taken to ensure that they trace the people who have come into contact with the student. And that there you have it, the notice is there so you can actually read it. They go on to even talk about providing psychological support,
which is absolutely important,
the student, right? And then reminding he's a national service personnel, and he should stop saying student, national service personnel, and reminding everyone to stay safe, wash their hands, practice social distancing. They're going to fumigate, you know, the facility to ensure that everything is fine. I think all schools should take a cue from what they've done. Right? They've been very transparent. They've been very open about exactly what has happened, the steps they are taking to ensure that they contain the spread while also protecting the privacy of the person who has the virus.
No, I think it's absolutely important. I think we need more emotional intelligence at this point because we've decided to go down the road that we're going down. It's going to expose more people within the community, unfortunately, for a while, you know. And so when we come across these kinds of things, so I mean, think about it. A few months ago, nobody was in school, so nobody in school is going to, you know, going to get it. Right, from school. But here's a case where we are now back in school. People are going to start getting it, right, in school. If we don't exercise emotional intelligence at this point, you know, it's not going to be good for any of us, you know. So I think it's very the technical university for doing what it is that they did and handling the matter sensitively and handling it swiftly. I think it's absolutely important, and kudos to them for doing that.
Yeah, and I think they're a great example of handling a pandemic with love rather than fear. Because what we're used to is people will run away, people will pretend the problem is not there, they won't face it head on, right? And I think this is a clear example of leadership in times of a pandemic. They could have been like, okay, if we release this statement, the stigma we will face, parents might run and come, you know, take their students at our facility. People will handle this badly, but because they stayed on top of the thing that has happened, and they approached it from a perspective of love, that we are one community. This has happened to us, but in spite of this, we're going to get ahead. I think all small businesses, medium-sized businesses, organizations can take a cue from this. If you find that someone in your team is positive, don't wait for people to start gossiping. Don't wait for people to start stigmatizing that person. Stay on top of the conversation. Let them know what has happened. And that way you control the narrative and you control how people react. Because you delivered the news with love, people will also embrace that news with love and a bit of empathy, and really understand that you've done the best you could to protect everyone around you. But I also must say that we don't want to come next week Monday and hear schools saying they've not received Veronica buckets, students saying they've not received their face mask, because we know that these guys are younger. So there are certain things that may not really, they won't be able to understand it the way we would. They've not seen their friends in a very long time. They may hug their friends. There are things that they will do when they get back to school. So we as adults, we as a nation, need to do the best we can to ensure that come Monday, every single JHS is well resourced to ensure that we contain the spread.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we can't overstate it that we are going back into trying to live normal lives, you know, as weird as that is in these circumstances. We are trying to go back to living as normal as lives we can live as possible. So in doing this, we then need to actually anticipate that we will come across this, and if we do, how will we behave ourselves? Okay, we need to think about it. That it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody at this point that my brother has it or my friend has it. You know, it shouldn't be a surprise anymore. If we don't anticipate and think about it in this way, that we are going back to try and live our lives as normally as possible, then what will happen is that if someone near you, someone close to you gets it, then we're all up in a panic. We're all up in a, in a huff about it. We shouldn't be, okay? It's important for us to understand that this is what's going to happen. Thankfully, many of us are not going to get it. But if we do, let's prepare our minds, prepare our hearts, prepare ourselves that this is how we're going to function. Emotional intelligence is critical at this time.
Yes, and speaking of which, over the weekend we heard from the president that we are now going to face sanctions, strict sanctions, if we do not put on our face mask when we walk out of our homes. We'll hear from what the president said and then continue the show.
The doctors and scientists telling us that the virus is transmitted from human contact through talking, singing, coughing, and sneezing, which results in sending droplets of the virus from one person to another. Residents of these 4 regions, and indeed all Ghanaians, must remember that the wearing of masks is now mandatory. Leaving our homes without a face mask or face covering on is an offense. The police have been instructed to enforce this directive, which is the subject of an executive instrument. Let me repeat, our survival is in our own hands. If we are lax and inattentive, we will continue to have serious challenges with the virus. If we are mindful and self-disciplined, we have it in us to defeat this pandemic and help return our lives to normalcy.
So that was the president addressing us on Sunday. Now, yesterday, the information minister also came out to provide more clarity on this EI 164.
Yeah.
I think we should hear what he said yesterday, and then we'll continue the show.
Now, generally, what we expect is compliance from the public for the greater public good. Because you may not know, if you haven't been tested and proven positive within a particular window, you may not even know that you are a positive person who can infect other persons. And so the objective is that as the majority or as the entire public going out into public places wears a face covering, you'll be able to curb the rate at which, if somebody is positive and is infectious, can be passing it on to others. Now, we acknowledge a gray area in the law, which has got to do with individuals who are in their cars, their private cars, by themselves. And we also acknowledge that there's a very strict interpretation that the police intend to give to such scenarios, looking at the text of the law. The lawyers will tell you that there are those who do what they call the literalist interpretation, and then there are those who also do the purposive interpretation. Today, the courts even use what they call the modern purposive approach. So what government is doing is that we're engaging with the police to give the EI a purposive interpretation when they are applying it.
All right, so you heard there what the Minister of Information says about purposive interpretation, helping the police to actually apply the law more purposefully, as opposed to just reading the letter of the law. And there were cases yesterday where people in their cars, alone in their cars, were harassed and arrested and all of that because they were not wearing masks and so on. So, but he spoke again also on Eyewitness News to give us further clarification. Let's take a listen.
The public is raising concerns that police persons are threatening to arrest people who are in their vehicles alone. The police has also on, I think, one media platform mentioned that their interpretation of 1B is that leaving and coming back to your abode would include the fact that if you're in a vehicle, a private vehicle by yourself, then you still must wear the mask. I think this morning it was one of the issues that we had cause to speak to during our press briefing, and what we mentioned was that the government of Ghana, and now I understand, has engaged with the Ghana Police Service, that what we have to do is to look at the object or the purpose of the executive instruments and what it seeks to do. What it seeks to do is to ensure that people who are in contact with other people do so only when they are wearing masks, i.e. people who are in public places or people who are in...
So we heard the Minister of Information there clarifying again that there's a purpose for for which the law was put in place. Let's understand that purpose. And so when we are applying it, okay, applying sanctions, you apply it as per the purpose. I mean, to me, I thought this made perfect sense, right from the beginning. But somehow it looks like the police didn't get that, and we're doing what it is that they were doing as per the letter of the law. So I think it's brought enough clarification. I like what he's done to explain it, But then, of course, there are sanctions that are pretty stiff, as far as this is concerned. Some pretty harsh sanctions if you are found, falling foul of the law. Some pretty tough sanctions.
Yeah, what the sanctions are, you can face up to 4 to 10 years in prison or both. That's some jail term for you, or you can pay from 12,000 to 60,000 Ghana cedis for not wearing your face mask. I think this isn't the place and time for it. The government missed a big opportunity to at least educate the general public. First of all, what we should be asking ourselves should be, why are people not wearing face masks? There are so many face masks out there that have not been FDA or GSA approved. When you go out there, you speak to people in taxis, in trotros, at the market, they tell you, I can't breathe in these face masks. As a nation, what have we done to ensure that we highlight the right locally branded face mask for people to use? It would have been different if the Information Ministry came to us still on the notion of emotional intelligence to say, we've gone out there, we've heard your cries, we've heard you say that you feel uncomfortable, you can't breathe in certain face masks. These are the local companies who are producing face masks that will not only protect you, but will be comfortable for you to put on. Please wear these face masks. For people who can't afford the face mask, we've collaborated with these private agencies to subsidize the cost of face mask for you, so that you can have access to face masks. After they've done everything possible to ensure that whatever concerns the general public may have, they've addressed it. People who can't afford face masks, we've done A, B, C, D to ensure that you have no excuse to put on your face mask. Then you can talk about sanctions. But you don't skip steps. You don't turn a deaf ear to the concerns that the people have as to why they are not putting on their face mask in the first place. Because the reality is, you're going to Abu Blush, you go to Makola, go to Kantamanto, they'll tell you, I just put on the face mask when I see someone come in, and then I take it off when no one is watching. It defeats the purpose. The person has to feel as though they are putting it on to protect themselves, not because they're afraid of a policeman. Because then what's the point? And Martin Pebu made a very great point on Eyewitness News yesterday when he said maybe we should do the fine what NAPCO trainees are earning, 750 cedis. I think that's even still high, because in some developed countries, people are being fined $50, $100. We're a developing country. How can someone pay 12,000 to 60,000 Ghana cedis for not wearing a face mask? We're looking at that story now. You guys can read it at home. And he made some very strong points. If a NAPCO trainee is caught right now, it's going to cost him a whole year's salary to pay for the face mask. Are we trying to just get revenue locally and we're using face masks as an excuse, or are we genuinely trying to deter people from not wearing the face mask? And if the goal is to stop people from transmitting the disease to one another, then we need to rethink the strategy.
I think it's a very interesting situation that we find ourselves in, because a lot of our laws, Jifa, and I'm sure lawyers are better placed to talk about this, but a lot of our laws, the punishment for the law is often so extreme that it defeats the purpose of reformation. It defeats the purpose of actually preventing people from actually doing what they're not supposed to do. So
and that's why the police they themselves know that this is, so they're like, go and weed or go and sweep. They are trying to even find ways of making their way around it, because a policeman is going to arrest me to spend 6 to 10 years in jail because I don't have on my face mask.
It doesn't make any sense.
I think we really need to figure out how to implement this in a way, and I'm glad the Information Ministry said that they've sent they're communicating with the heads of the police force, and they will now come out and talk to us about what they will do moving forward. I think we really need to focus on educating and sensitizing people, and also pointing out the right face mask so that people have no excuse to not wear the face mask before we get to sanctions.
Yeah. All right. Well, then news review is up next. My name is David Kwekwe-Sechi.
And I am Jifayukia Ametam. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
My name is Samuel Ofori, a film actor and a film director. Because of the nature of my job, the taste for quality things is endless. Quality phones, quality laptops, quality TV sets. Let me show you my secret. Here is Franco Trading Enterprise. My secret for quality laptops, quality phones, quality TV sets. Accessories, come on, external hard drive, pen drive, name it. For bulk purchase and retails, come to Franco Trading Enterprise. They'll reduce the price for you. Franco Trading Enterprise, home of quality phones.
I got some money.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
Welcome back. It's time for us to get into the news review. This morning, my guests are already seated, and the show is interactive. So kindly use the hashtag BreakfastDaily on all social media platforms. The WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. If you happen to be outside Ghana, kindly prefix that with +233. So I'm going to go through the dailies. We'll do some online stories, and then we'll come back and have a conversation. Now, on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, $200 million boost for cocoa production as Cocoa Board secures loan for productivity enhancement program. Ensure strict adherence to COVID-19 protocols. President tasks heads of basic schools. Government undertakes disinfection exercise for 112 basic schools in Savannah region. Finance Ministry fails to account for ABFA for third time. This is coming from PIAC. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, provide a roadmap on pollution control. Prof. Frimpong Boateng demands of steel company. Government engaging police on nose mask enforcement. Electoral Commission Ghana compilation of the 2020 voters register. Cocoa Board receives $200 million to fund productivity. On the front page of the Chronicle, ridiculous. TMA requests to fund EC. Haruna mocks majority leader over primaries. China praises Ghana for 1D1F. DVLA probes registration of birthday Range Rover. On the front page of the New Crusading Guide, Cubs prepared for successful academic work as GHSs open on June 29th. Revealed how Eastern Regional Minister plotted MCE's fall. Government commended for disinfecting basic schools in Savannah region. GIJ appoints new deputy rector and registrar. Odogono student mysteriously missing in Kaswa. On the front page of the Finder, over 12,000 emergency trips in 5 months. This is regarding the operations of the National Ambulance Service. More than 1 million Ghana cedis spent on fuel. Government engaging police on interpretation of EI 164. This is coming from Upon Kroma. PIAC wants Finance Ministry to account for 1.5 billion Ghana cedi annual budget funding amount. On the front page of the Custodian, moneybags weaken Parliament. MPs cry out after MPP tsunami primaries. Government engages police on mask enforcement. Sagnari cuts sword for road project. MPA boss to retain Gushegu seat for MPP. Let's do some online stories now. I want to look at citynewsroom.com. Akufo-Addo apologizes to Buhari after demolition at Nigeria High Commission. Sanctions for not wearing face masks too harsh. This is coming from Martin Pegu. EC hit with another suit on voters register. I'll win Ayawaso West Wogon seat with 54% of the votes. This is coming from John DeMello. Dismiss Imani, others, amicus brief in voters register case, EC to Supreme Court. From citybusinessnews.com, we have receiver to publish names of debtors to collapse microfinance companies. PIAC urges Parliament to restrict GMPC spending on CSR. Tree Crop Development Authority will kick start this year, says the Agric Minister. City Business Festival. African businesses urged to form synergies to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Banks have not held back support for 2020-2021 syndicated loan, Cocoa Board is clarifying. And on My Joy Online, Akufo-Addo apologizes to Muhammadu Buhari for over demolition of property at Nigerian High Commissioner's residence. And on BBC.com, we have Malawi counting votes from rerun election. All right, so for more news, kindly visit citynewsroom.com. And for more business news, kindly visit citybusinessnews.com. All right, so the show is interactive. Don't forget the hashtag Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter. And if you also want to communicate with us through WhatsApp, kindly use the number 05505-85832. The country code is +233 for those who are outside Ghana. Now, I've been joined by my guests in studio. I have Daniela Mavis Matthias. She's a National Communication Team member of the NDC. Good morning, Daniela.
Good morning,
How
David.
are you?
I'm well. How are you too?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And I also have Laura Wuratu Musa Saka. She's a National Communications Team member of the MPP. Now, I always get your name right. Today, I'm struggling with this. Please mention it for me.
Laratu.
Laratu. Okay, fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not bad at all.
Well seeing you.
Yes. We haven't spoken in a bit. So let me just come to you first of all. Generally speaking, looking at the numbers where we find ourselves now, what's your general feeling? Just as an individual, what's your general feeling?
Okay. Let me say good morning to our viewers, and good morning to I don't know whether I prefer Mavis or
any of them.
Mavis. Okay. Generally, I think we are not out of the woods yet, and we are dealing with a novel virus that has a mind of its own, and we all need to be alert. I mean, we can go on about the numbers, we can go on about the other dynamics, but I think what we should be looking at as a people, and to follow the leadership of His Excellency the President, is to be responsible citizens and make sure we all rally behind him to get this virus out.
Okay.
Because this is a pandemic. It's not like you can move from one area to another and not face it.
Yeah.
Everybody is facing it.
Yeah.
And apart from the numbers, I mean, obviously the numbers, if you are not testing, definitely your numbers will not be going up. So once we keep on testing, numbers will keep on.
I mean, the numbers will not be aware of the rising numbers, but the numbers will be rising in the population anyway, even if you're not testing. You know, I think that what we're doing is to expose what the numbers really are.
Yes, but it's good to know what the situation is.
Absolutely,
and address it rightly, than just be addressing issues in ignorance. So once we are testing, the numbers will be going up. I mean, once we are, people are getting affected, unfortunately, we'll be losing some people. Some will be recovering, some cannot handle it, depending on the different immune systems we have and the way we take care of ourselves as individuals.
I want you to dovetail from that into the wearing of mandatory wearing of face masks that the government has rolled out. On social media, I saw a couple of comments that was being made. People had some experiences that were less than pleasant, considering that one of them that I actually saw, the person was in their own car and wasn't wearing a face mask, but they had the mask in the car. And they were stopped by the police, and the police was very, very angry, you know, as the person explained that, hey, I'm here alone. You know, what's the difficulty? Don't you understand? I'm here alone. Nobody has the possibility of being infected by me or myself getting infected from anybody. So, but then, of course, thankfully, the Minister of Information came out to explain in detail what it is that they're trying to do and so on. What are your comments?
Yes, David, I just think that in situations like this, I mean, it's good to have the conversation around what the punitive measures are, what you suffer if you don't wear a mask. It's good to have that conversation as law-abiding citizens or people being governed by the rule of law. But I also think that sometimes we pay too much attention to some of these issues. It's two issues. Wear a mask. If you don't wear the mask, you get this. You face this punitive measure. What is difficult about wearing a mask to protect yourself and protect others? And I find it a bit difficult that we are suddenly making the situation of wearing the mask around the wearing of masks around the EI that came up covering the wearing of masks. And what informed this EI? It started with a directive from the Ministry of Health, right, appealing virtually to all of us to help protect each other by wearing the mask. People were not doing it. People were not doing it. And it's been proven that wearing a mask protects you and protects the other person, has a way of preventing the spread of the virus. Right. We move from that. FDA, as far back as April, came out with guidelines, requirements.
For making certain masks.
Yes, for producing masks. Subsequently, they came out with over 41 companies that have been approved to produce this mask. They were even asked, as part of the requirement, to emboss their labels on the mask. It came with a lot of hue and cry. The cost, getting it. At that point in time, some of us were of the view that, why don't you get the ones that are not approved there? But those on the market then, we're trying to contain a virus. We're trying to deal with a virus. Those out there, even though we're not standard, was better than nothing. At least we're covering off people's. But at the end of the day, you also don't want the case where you leave it free for all and people start producing masks that will suffocate citizens. Because as we do this, you also, all these things that are being done is in the best interest of the citizen. So if we want to move away from the issue of protecting ourselves to concentrating on what the punitive measures are, I think we need to consider this very critically. We are not in normal times. At the end of the day, I leave my house with my mask. Because at the end of the day, when I'm done with whatever I do in town, I'll go back home. I have kids at home who haven't been anywhere. So at the end of the day, I take that responsibility as an individual first to protect myself and my home before any other person. So if
mandatory wearing the EI is because now that it's being enforced in the way in which it's being enforced, you know, some people, I read a story, it didn't happen in Ghana, but this was where somebody actually fainted behind the wheel because the mask was on in the car. You know, as they were driving, and they had a mask on. I don't know how long they had it on for. But we also know that scientifically, as you have the mask on, your oxygen uptake has been reduced. Carbon dioxide regurgitation or reabsorption has gone up, which is going to make your blood more acidic. It's going to put all kinds of demands on your heart. It's a given. This is the scientific process. So as often as you can, away from others, you would want to just pull it off for a few minutes, breathe in fresh air, put it back on. But the key thing, I think that for me, the minister was, you know, what was the purpose of this law? The purpose was to prevent spread.
Yes.
Right? And so I think that intelligent interpretation of the law is also critical.
But David,
because your health is not just the virus, it's also breathing in quality air.
David, we are at that point, right? The purposive interpretation of the law has come to the fore. And like the Minister of Information said yesterday, the police will be engaged to make sure. Look, this is something that everybody is afraid of. Right. This is something that on normal days, police caution people and let them go for certain offenses, especially with first-time offenders and all that. But with this, it's like nobody knows how this virus is operating. One time, there's a research showing one thing. In the next, sometimes it doesn't even take 24 hours. It changes. But at the end of the day, the police will be engaged to come out with directives to their people on the ground, to make sure that because when I sit in my car with my glasses rolled up, I don't wear a mask. I don't.
But I
give myself that break.
But prior to
when
yesterday,
I'm at home.
But prior to yesterday, you would have been stopped by the police to ask you, to put on your mask, and why are you not wearing it?
Of course, but you see, when these things come out, we've admitted that there's a gray area and it's being sorted out. Nothing comes out absolutely perfect. I mean, we've been in this country where we've had to review certain aspects of our constitution. Laws come to protect us. Laws are made for us, right? There's a gray area, it's being addressed. And I think we should all forge ahead and make sure. So at the end of the day, now, if a police stops me and I'm in my car alone, rolled up, because the fundamental thing is to stop the spread, so we can deal with this virus to have our normal lives back.
All right.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let me come to you, Daniela. What do you make of the happenings so far? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, David. And I must commend City TV for the good work that you are doing. First and foremost, I would want to greet my flag bearer, former President John Dramani Mahama, and Mama Lodina, wherever they are. I always say that John Mahama is a very peaceful person. John Mahama is hardworking, he's very humble and very, very sensitive. He says that when he comes, all the collapsed financial institution and the banks he's going to pay them their money. He says that he's going to reduce the number.
Your time to give funds.
David, don't worry. It's my time. He says that he's going to reduce the number of ministers. Then he also says that he's going to invest in the newly created regions. He's also going to create technical and vocational institution, that's the university, and he's going to build hospitals in the regions. The 50% communication tax that has been put on us, he's going to scrap it.
I think you should address the subject.
And then, David, I'm going to go on. It's my time that you have given me, so please allow me.
But the viewers are watching, so they also need your.
I'll do that. Don't worry at all. He says that he's also going to put assemblymen on salaries. So Ghanaians have missed President Mahama wherever you are. We are calling for you to come and help us. God willing, December 7th, Ghanaians will vote for you. This issue about the EI 164, I think that the aggressive way by which government is handling this will not give us the kind of results that we are all looking for. We need to engage the public in a very corrective manner.
Why do you choose to call it aggressive?
It's very aggressive, David. I'll come to that. I'm building my point because some of the sanctions for not wearing masks is referred to the article. It's referred to this sanctions that they were the Restriction of Imposition Act 2020. It is referred on the sanction for not wearing of masks. So I'll come back to that. Then this executive instrument is the executive that is making the law. In this case, it's the president that has been given the powers to make this law. It's okay to wear your mask when you are in public or when you have about 2 or 3 people in your car, because then you would discourage the spread of the virus. But when I'm in my car, David, when I'm in my car alone, that is my private space. I sit in my car alone, I can eat in my car, I can play loud music. It is my private space. And I am not spreading any virus because I'm alone in the car. What we need is clarity on this law. And the clarity must come as soon as possible.
You were not happy with what the Minister of Information gave yesterday? Because he did give clarity yesterday.
David, but then the law enforces. Those who are going to enforce the law.
Yeah.
They need, and we, the citizens, we need clarity on this law. Because when I'm in my car and there is no other person in the car and you ask me to wear my mask and you are going to fine me, we are going to, I refer to the sanctions of the Restriction Act. I am going to pay not a minimum of 12,000 or a maximum of 60,000 Ghana cedis, or face 4-year jail term or 10 years jail term. So we need a clarity. You see, and these things are not enforceable. If you say that if you don't wear your mask, you are going to pay maybe 500, or you are going to pay 700, or face 2 weeks jail term, those ones are enforceable. But if you refer to the Restriction of Imposition Act, that if I don't wear my mask in my car, in my own car that I rode up, I'm going to pay 12,000 fine or 60,000 fine in this our economy. When there's complete hardship, David, where are Ghanaians going to get that money from? So we need a clarity. You know, some of these policemen, they are very good policemen in our system, very professional ones. And there are some others that are unprofessional, that are complete bullies. They'll take advantage of the system and rip people off. Or, I mean, the scuffle that will happen and the kind of confusion that is going to happen in our system, that is why we are calling that the lawmaker, that is the executive, and the president and his people should come up and give us clarity. And then, you see...
So, you think the 12,000 is too much?
David, it's not like I think. I know it is too much.
What would have worked for you?
That is why I'm saying that, for me, if you not wearing my nose mask in my car is my private space, and I'm not infecting anybody because I'm alone in my car, that alone needs clarity.
That's granted, and responsible and understanding the law and all of that. But there are people what I want to do with it.
Those ones,
so if we want to sanction them, what do you think would work?
David, those ones, I agree with the president if he says that those who have deliberately decided not to wear their masks because it's a pandemic and we want to discourage the rate at which people are being infected. So that's one, and if we want the law enforcers to enforce this law, slashing the public with 12,000 or 60,000 Ghana, it's not enforceable. It's not doable, David. Let's be real. If it is 500 or 700, or even 2 weeks jail term, that one is enforceable. But 12,000 to 60,000 Ghana, in this our economy right now, you cannot enforce that law. We shouldn't just play around it. And then, you see, sometimes we pass these laws based on our current circumstances or the situation that we are in. I know COVID-19 is around and we are all panicking and all that, but we shouldn't pass laws based on our emotions. You understand what I'm saying? Because if this is not doable, it is completely not doable. And you see, sometimes, David, the people that we forget about are the destitute, the poor, and the needy. Now they sell nose mask. This very one is being sold for how much? 6 cedis, 5 cedis. Some people, the one made in cloth, they are being sold for 3 cedis, 4 cedis, 5 cedis. That is somebody's daily bread. The poor and the needy, when you go to them and you interact with them, David, if they have 5 cedis or 3 cedis, they will use this to buy kenke, 2 cedis, and fish, 1 cedis. They don't have it, and it is the reality. Sometimes when we are in power, we forget about all these people.
What's the solution?
David, at the end of the day, we'll go back. I'm asking that these high-handed measures that the president, this executive instrument that the president has passed, is the president going to go to all these people, the poor and the needy? Is he going to go to them for their re-election? Is the president going to go to those people, David? Because they genuinely do not have the money. They genuinely cannot afford the nose mask. World Bank, we've gone for a loan for $1 billion from World Bank. We have IMF, $100 million. We have the stabilization fund.
So should he just permit people to do what they want because of re-election?
Nose masks. Even there are some countries that the policemen themselves have the nose mask. When they stop you and you don't have it, they provide you with the nose masks.
Okay.
We should go to those areas. I always say that if Ghana Water can bring me my water bill, if we can go to those people, those poor areas, and campaign for their vote, then it means that we know where they live, we know their houses. We can go and give them the nose masks. That is what I'm saying. Generally, there are some people who don't want to put it on. And those ones, the law should deal with them.
Right.
But also there are people in this society, this country, who are extremely poor, and they cannot afford the nose masks, David. And it is serious.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please don't go anywhere.
Unlock banking with biometrics. Now you can access the Absa mobile banking app using your fingerprint or facial recognition. Download today. That's Africanacity. That's Absa.
Welcome back, and we're still having a conversation here on the news review segment. I was just speaking, my guests here, Loratu and Daniela, and we've been talking about the mandatory wearing of face masks, and we want to move on to the next conversation. I want to talk about the MPP prime allegations of vote buying. A couple of stories to you, and then we'll situate the conversation and then have that conversation. All right. So on citynewsroom.com, the MPP says we will investigate claims of vote buying during the NPP primaries. That was Samir Oku saying that. The national organizer of the governing New Patriotic Party, Samir Oku, has said the party will investigate the allegations of vote buying during its primaries. MPP on the 20th of June 2020 held parliamentary primaries in the constituencies that it has sitting members of parliament. But there have been allegations of vote buying that took place during the elections. Speaking on Eyewitness News, the organizer of the MPP, national organizer of the MPP, said he did not witness any form of inducement at the places he was assigned to, but the party will probe the allegations. I heard allegations of inducement, bribing delegates, and all of that. But let me be very honest with you, as a practicing Christian, I never saw one aspirant or a group of aspirants doling out money or bribing delegates. And I also never saw any delegate or group of delegates receiving money in that regard. I am being very honest. All right. Let me start with you, Loratu.
David.
Yes.
It's interesting the angle Mavis has gone with this wearing of mask, and
we've moved on from that topic.
David.
Oh.
Can I go on?
Yes, go on.
Yes. At every point in time, they give me the joy to appreciate the fact that God has been so good to Ghana to give us Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as president at this time. I'm wondering, with this level of populism, how would have survived COVID from March to date? Look, 6 years ago, right, 2014, 24 June, this day, we were told that hot afternoon that money was being carted with a chartered flight to Brazil, like perishable goods. We've seen things in this country before. So when we have a leader who has the country at heart, we know. This is a group of people.
Samir Oku says that your vote buying was unprecedented.
David, let me deal
you don't
with
want to address the issue.
I'll address the issue. Don't worry. Let me go. This is a group of people who inundated Ghanaians with 11 nuisance taxes, including the 17.5%. To do a beautiful, and they'll come and scrap 50% CST to address cybersecurity issues, they should come again. I think this idea of just telling fundamentally understanding why those things are introduced. But let's come to what, David, if you want to make this issue about giving monetization of elections an NPP issue, then we've had it wrong from the get-go.
No one is making an NPP issue.
But with what again do you expect to be done? I, for one, there are two constituencies I have personal interest in. Ablekuma West, that's the Honorable Minister of Communications constituency, and Salaga South in Savannah region. Both of them went unopposed. So if I sit here and I tell you I didn't see anybody inducing anybody, I won't be telling you a lie, because that is what I witnessed. But if people have cause to believe that people were induced, I think the national organizer who has operations under his purview has indicated it to be investigated.
Can I share my experience with you?
David, go ahead.
On that day,
yes,
I was in Okaikwe South, and I saw standing fans.
Yes.
I must have seen at least 20 to 30 standing fans that had been given to different people. I mean, by the time I got there and saw it, it wasn't being shared. People who had them already owned them. Do you understand? It's like, I've received my gift.
They told you that?
Yes.
Okay.
We have it on video.
Okay.
We have it on record. We have it on video. Then there's a conversation I had with a lady, and that is also on video. We played it on our news stories. She said she received money. How much money did you receive? She says, I received 2,000. 2,000 Ghana cedis. Okay, and then, so the interesting thing is that one aspirant apparently gave 1,500 cedis to everybody. Another aspirant also gave 2,000 Ghana cedis plus standing fans, to, some of the delegates. So from where I sit, inducements happened. I saw it live. Of course, you won't see.
David, I think you've experienced. But let me ask you one. This is not to say I don't endorse monetization of elections. It is something we all need to come together.
You think it doesn't ever happen?
David, from where you sit, you saw what you saw.
Yes.
From where I sit, I didn't see what you saw.
Okay.
Right?
But you've never heard it happen?
At the end of the day, what is the right thing? You've been in this business for quite some time, right? As
a reasonable
journalist,
amount of time.
Right?
Yeah.
You've been here. Is this the first election you've witnessed? Is this the first internal?
In this way, yes. In this way, yes.
In which way?
This close.
This close?
Yes. Being on the ground, this close.
But I'm sure when you talk to your colleagues who have witnessed other internal contests or even general elections this close, they will also give you their stories.
Yes.
But right now, you and I are having a conversation. I happened to be in an unopposed constituencies, and I didn't see what you saw.
Yeah.
Which
makes sense to me.
You were in a constituency that had a contest.
Yes.
And you saw people having items. What is the best thing to do? Now, is your word against mine or your word against whoever it is?
No, it doesn't have to be my word against yours. There's video evidence.
Yes, by the end of the day.
With delegates speaking on camera.
By the end of the day, you just don't assume that everything that is captured on video and everything that you have said is sacrosanct. Right? So what the national organizer is saying is, we investigate it.
Okay.
Right? The fact that that commitment has been made tells you that nobody endorses this. Because this is a nation. right, that we are building. If we are going to be monetizing our leadership, then we have a problem. Because then you will have people sitting. But I think that this is a conversation as a nation we should have going forward. And once the national organizer, who has the purview of operations under his, has the purview of operations in the party, says they are going to investigate, I think you can follow it up. Because that is good enough commitment. Because what is being shown, a lot of things have been shown. There was even one picture I saw that was tagged, someone had been beaten or something. Then another person came out and said, no, it wasn't true. All these things need to be investigated. But if we want to go to the crux of the issue, which is the monetization of elections in this country, then we need to have a national conversation. Right? Because look, for the MPP, we didn't start like this. Is this issue of people making allegations of money being doled out, or people being induced, that has moved our electoral college from just the polling station chairman to now the 5 polling station executives. Now there's a conversation on further expanding the NDC can share their experience. Based on our expansion of our electoral college, they further expanded theirs. Did it change anything? We need to have this conversation. Even with lesser known political parties, these allegations come out. So it is something that we need to deal with. But if we want to isolate them, right, based on our experiences, then we might never be able to deal with these issues.
I think it's fair enough that Samir Oku should say that they're going to investigate it. But my question to you would immediately be, is there enough political will to stamp it out should it be true? For us, it is true. But I can't speak for him. So he says we'll investigate. Is there enough political will, either on your side or on both sides of the divide, to stamp it out if it is true?
David, I don't know how you want me to go about it.
However you want to go about it.
Like I explained to you, it's moved from just polling station as chairman to the 5 polling station executives. We'll keep going on, we'll keep expanding it. That is enough commitment to solve the issue. Because the assumption is that the higher the number, the more difficult it is for people to induce.
To do that,
That's proving that that is not the absolute solution to it. So now we've gone a step further. Let's investigate some of these things. I think there's commitment to this, but we all need to come together as a nation, because at the end of the day, the people who are put there will come and govern all of us, not a section of the country.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. So, Daniela,
yes, David.
I'm sure you've heard the different allegations that have come out, including your communications, Samir Oku, saying that this level of vote buying is totally unprecedented. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, David, before I come to this very issue, I would like to address, just in under 2 minutes, some of the allegations and some of the things that my sister said. You know, sometimes I see for some of the MPP communicators and put him in a very good light. I know they are trying, but it's very difficult. Look, according to the Auditor General, by the time that the NDC was leaving power, our total debt from Kwame Nkrumah's time to the time we're leaving power was 120 billion. Today, go and check, and it is very factual. Our debt, Nana Addo has borrowed, within these 4 years, has borrowed more than 120 billion. It is a fact. David, when we were leaving power, President Kufuor left the Jubilee field. When NDC was leaving power, we had 10 and Sankofa. This oil revenues, the revenues that generate from this oil is about 3 billion annually. David, we left ESLA, energy sector levy. This energy sector levy, when they were in opposition, Nana Addo stood on various platforms. President Nana Addo stood on various platforms to say that when he comes, he is going to scrap ESLA. just for him to come and introduce it, reintroduce it, and increase it by 27%. ESLA gives the Nanado 3 billion every year. David, what is the dollar? The situation of the dollar now? What didn't Bawumia say on various platforms? What did Nanado say? Yetisikaso and Sokomedeye. Have they forgotten all that? Today the dollar is 6 Ghana cedis to $1. 6 Ghana cedis. By the time you were leaving 3.8, 4 cedis at any forex, you will get $1. Now 6 cedis to $1. You promised to give one student 1 chocolate. You promised to construct harbour at Jamestown. Jamestown. President Nanado promised to put up harbour there. Keta, go to Keta right now. We have only a signboard, not even a security post for a harbour that Nanado promised. And meanwhile, they are using you and I, our taxpayers' money, to pay a manager that they have appointed. He said that he was going to restore the Korle Lagoon.
But you're aware that they are building 10 breakwater harbors right now, right?
Where? David, you tell me
okay,
where?
So I've seen one at Mumford. I saw it myself.
What I know is what I'm telling you. They promised Jamestown people. They are my people because I'm a Gan. I drive through there all the time. They said that, how do you call Keta? They have appointed the managing director that they are using you and our taxpayers' money to pay. They haven't done anything. They are going to restore the Korle Lagoon and put banla and salmon, tilapia in that lagoon. Today, what are we seeing? Filth, rubbish, plastic waste. He says he's going to construct new one district, one market. Has he done it? So when we are talking about promises, even the time that President...
So you're not going to address the issue?
I'm going to address it.
Okay.
Even the time that President Mahama was fixing Dumso, he was able to construct Kotoka International, the Terminal 3. University of Ghana Hospital that today MPP, you are using it for your COVID-19 cases. Bank of Ghana Hospital, Kaswa interchange, Circle interchange. Sometimes we forget the kind of traffic that we were going under when the Circle interchange has not been constructed. When you look at the jobs that President Mahama did, the chip compound, the hospitals scattered around the country. I'll come to that. David, so when we are talking about people making promises and fulfilling it, you people, you score 14%. 14% of your promises. You are still delivering. Meanwhile, there is nothing to show for. The economy, you were touting that the economy was robust. The economy was strong. But for COVID-19, we wouldn't have run to Mahama Stabilization Fund. They took 200 million using the hospital that he built. If we are talking about presidents and
we have a topic to discuss.
We have a topic, but I'm just addressing her, the issues that she raised.
2 minutes of time.
MPP primaries, David. MPP primaries. I'll come to that. I can even use 1 minute to summarize it, because even though they are a public organization and public institution, whatever they do must concern all of us, because they represent us at ECOWAS and AU. So whatever they do, they seek for our mandates. We gave it to them. Whatever they do, they make decisions for us, so we should all be concerned about it. But then what I can say about this is that in every war, there are casualties. Some people lost, some people won. Good luck to those who won. We wish them all the best. Those who lost, they should take it in good faith.
Sami Jeffrey says that the vote buying was unprecedented.
Some of them were untouchable. Some of them were untouchable and some of them were protected. For instance, I am particular about this very one because Adwoa Safo was not protected. When the majority leader, chief whips and all the rest were protected, she was not protected. Why? Because she was contesting the son of the speaker. So she was left on her own to defend herself. I mean, when you look at the monies that were shared, the monetization of the just ended MPP primaries. It's on videos. It is on videos. I have seen it, a lot of them. It went viral. Monies, dollars. There were areas that they were sharing dollars. You see, this one, for instance, I am very particular about it because it happens among all the political parties. But to this level, I have never seen it before. Dollars, sharing of $5,000, $2,000, $1,500 for delegates. I have not seen this before. And they were on videos. I'll be surprised that people will hide behind God, you know, and say that I'm a Christian, I'll not lie about it. But there are evidence. There are evidence. What kind of investigations do you want to run
He's
again?
saying that on the ground where he was, he didn't see.
Obviously, you cannot be everywhere. That is why we have evidence. We have videos. People, your own people, were telling you, they were on radio. We saw it. It was so visible that I'll be surprised that he's saying, hiding behind God, to say that he's not aware of those things. They are real. David, the sharing of goodies. The sharing of goodies. My goodness. I wish I was a delegate on Saturday.
What were some of the goodies you saw being shared?
I saw fridges. I saw flat screen.
Then you saw more, Pa, because I saw standing fans. That was the only thing I saw.
I saw more, David. And you see, sometimes that one thing that I'll tell the delegates is that sometimes when you take these monies, you sell your conscience and you sell your power. Do you understand what I'm saying? You are selling your conscience. You sow the destiny of your constituency. You sow the destiny of your children. So we should look at all these things in its right perspective.
But for other people, it's business. That's what it is.
That's what I'm saying.
At the end of the day, that's their ticket to making some money.
If I've given you 1,500, each delegate $1,500 or 1,500 Ghana cedis, and I don't bring development to your constituency, you have sold your power to me. So
but somebody will argue that it's seed money for some business they want to do.
Seed money, but it is not a business. In actual time, that fuels corruption in our system.
No, I agree with you.
It fuels corruption in our system. And, you know, sometimes I feel for our children, those who are our generation, the next generation behind us. They are going to feel the pinch of all these happenings in our system.
Your time is past,
and we should, MPP, Nanado, we should all, and NDC, we should all look at this thing very well.
When you come into office, we're not going to see this kind of thing.
David,
you're not coming.
David, when we come, God willing, it is not by our minds. Anybody who opens her mouth to say we are not coming is not God.
Okay.
And it is only God who knows that we are coming. When we come, David, you asked me a question, let me answer. When we come, we will make sure we put in the right measures. We'll put in the right measures to curb this.
Thank you, Daniela. So, Musa Abatwa Kumasi says, what we saw regarding MPP primaries is a clear indication that they are heading into opposition. If you do analysis of past internal elections of various political parties since the inception of the Fourth Republic, what happened in MPP will tell you that they are going to opposition because their strong base are disappointed and voted out most of the incumbent. Camille Yasaba in Tamale says, good morning. I think the mandatory wearing of face masks is only being monitored in the southern parts of the country. I don't see this in Tamale and some other parts of the country. All right, so the police are listening and they will act accordingly. Yeboah from Bremain, Benin says, it's rather unfortunate that the police who are supposed to enforce the wearing of nose masks are also at fault. I've seen many police on the streets without nose masks. So, police hierarchy, over to you. Let's just quickly do the last topic before we go. I want to talk about election 2020. So the general election is coming up, and the EC has been hit with yet another suit on the voters register. I'm going to quickly read the story for you, and then we'll quickly take a bite in that conversation. With less than 7 days to go, this is on City Newsroom, on your screen, to the planned compilation of a new voters register for the 2020 general election. It does not appear the EC is out of the woods yet, with suits questioning its power to compile a new electoral roll. The Member of Parliament for Ashaiman, Ernest Nogbe, has filed an application at the High Court seeking to perpetually restrain the Electoral Commission from compiling a fresh or new voters register for the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections until it is authorized by law to do so. Okay, quick bite.
David, you see the breeder documents that the EC is asking for this new registration is problematic. David, in every jurisdiction, your one of the things that shows your identity is your birth certificate. The birth certificate that shows that I'm a Ghanaian has been taken out of the breeder documents the EC won't use. He has taken the old voter ID card that elected Nanado into power in 2016. The old voter register that we used to create the new regions, the old voter register that was used for the district assembly elections. She has taken that old register also out, taking driver's license out. Now, I, Daniela, will have to, if I have a passport and my father or my mother doesn't have, I have to go and prove that this is my father, when it's supposed to be the other way around. What we are saying is that the posture of the EC, Madame Jean Mensa, it's very worrying. And if she is not careful, she'll plunge this country into chaos. Okay. That is all that we are saying. It is not only the NDC that is against this no voter register. It is a lot of civil society have come out. Nananom have called her to come and explain to them why she wants to go ahead with this register. She has refused to go and listen to Nananom. If you see this posture, the way Jean Mensa is going about things, no wonder a lot of people are saying that Jean Mensa is Nanado Minister for re-election because of her posture. Yes,
that's a new one.
Yes, that is what people are saying. That she's Nanado's Minister for re-election.
Wow.
Because it looks like the Ethiopia attitude. David, I will not listen to anybody, come what may. David, do you know this is going to cost us over 400 million? 400 million. And we are sitting here complaining about complete action. And we are sitting here complaining about nose marks in the system.
Let me take a quick
David,
bite.
we are suffering.
All right. Okay.
We are suffering.
Thank you. Thank you. You look very much like you're not suffering, but anyway, that's another conversation.
David.
Yes.
You know, with all that Mavis is going on about, I just want to draw attention to. Yeah, I know. Have you seen sugar from Commander Sugar Factory? Have you seen any?
But it is there.
Have you seen sugar from Commander? But you've seen Eco Juice, right?
Yes.
Yes. We sit here because now we have a president who doesn't think about the next election, but thinks about the next generation.
That is not true.
Right.
That is not true.
You've seen the over 1 million children coming out of the free SHS program.
And what about
You've seen over 100,000 graduates, and cumulatively it's even more than 100,000, because they are giving first. They are giving priority for NABCO.
Okay.
Right.
NABCO people are complaining. You know that.
Listen, this is a president who has a holistic plan, and for me, a president who prioritizes monitoring and evaluation wins me. Right.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, he knows it's not a perfect situation. Okay. Look, it's not a perfect government, but we are better than the NDC. Right?
Okay.
That is not true.
Look at the industries.
You know,
at the end of the day, we wouldn't have children coming out from basic school with a basic qualification, not coming to face unemployment. These are people who put us through.
Is not sustainable.
Who give us who put us through IMF.
Okay.
Right?
We've run out of time. We've run out of time. Thank you very much. My guests have been wonderful. Thank you very much to you, Daniela Mavis Matthias, who's a NDC communication team member, and also to Loratu Musa Saka. She's a national communications team member for the MPP. Thank you very much for watching this segment of the show. We're going to come back and have a conversation on the consumer tech segment. We'll be talking about devices.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethlog, experts in shipping logistics.
Former President John Agyekum Kufuor is on Footprints this weekend.
Oxford, which college? I said, Oxford is Oxford, any of the colleges. At that time, Oxford had 35 male colleges and 5 for ladies. It wasn't co-educational in that sense. So I said any of the colleges. Then Buzia said, well, I want to quote him. I am University College. I studied at the University College, Oxford. My moral tutor there at University College is now the rector, that's the head of college of Exeter College, Oxford. So immediately I shot back and said, so that man is still alive? So yes, he's still there, Professor Casey Ware. So I said, if he's around, then I would want to study under that man. The leadership of now in Parliament was very harsh. And so there was an occasion, I think it must have been to do with the Salah case or something. And Agama, who could have been perhaps the son of Buzia, stood up. And with Buzia the Prime Minister, that time government wasn't presidential, it wasn't the executive president, it was parliamentary system. Agama stood up because they are virtually shouting down at Buzia. You, tribal prime minister of a tribal government, it was terrible. And if you knew Buzia, Buzia sat quiet. So when Agama finished, and Victor Osu being the next senior, after prime minister, next senior man, minister, after the prime minister himself, and Victor Sharp also as a practicing lawyer, adversarial practitioner, just also shot up. He was recognized by the speaker, and he tore into Agama. How dare you call the prime minister tribal? Who is more inward looking than you people? And then that's how it degenerated into.
Join your host Samuel Atamensa as he sits with former President John Agyekum Kufuor as he tells his story. Footprint Show this Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sunday at 4 p.m. only on City TV. City TV, it's your world.
Footprints is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
Father, heal our land. Heal these nations, Father. Heal the nations all over the earth. Father, we cry out for you. The battle is not ours, it's yours, Father. We lean on you, Jesus. We lean on you, Jesus. We lean on you. That's why we say, Okuyi, hey, Oku, Okuyi, hey, Oku, Mede Madeswa, Nina, Mawo. This way, Nara, ye ji wouldn't see the mao. Free say, woo, ye come for Genje for ye the this way, Namao.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. City TV, it's your world.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subjects you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act only on City TV.
The conversations that help you shape your spiritual journey as a Christian. Find the answers you seek. Catch the 700 Club with Pat Robertson every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. on City TV.
Welcome back. It's time for us to do the Consumer Tech segment. And Philip Ashong, who is the head of television production here, and as well as the host of City Trends, has joined us to give us some updates from the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference. Good morning, Philip.
Well, good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. But before we get into all of that, check out this video, which is a basic wrap of day one of what happened at the Worldwide Developers Conference. It basically just wraps up some of the most exciting things that happened over at WWDC. Check it out.
Hey everyone, I'm Serenity Caldwell at Apple, and here's what went down on day one at WWDC. The biggest news of the day is definitely Apple Silicon. Hold on. Let's take it from the top.
Good morning.
iOS 14 is here. There's app library and widgets on your home screen. Siri now has 20 times more facts. Hey Siri, how many facts is that? That's a lot of facts. Cycling directions are coming to iPhone and to Apple Watch and to Mac. Oh, and hello, EV routing. Digital car keys. Let me show you how it works. Mind blown. There are app clips and app clip tags. We learned to scribble in iPadOS 14. Spatial audio comes to AirPods Pro. Apple Watch now tracks dancing. There's face sharing and a new sleep app. I'm up. We learned about the importance of privacy, and
privacy principles.
Home cameras have face recognition. Knock, knock. And what about macOS Big Sur? Look at that all new design. Message effects and emoji in messages. New customizable start page, privacy report, and translation in Safari. Très chouette. And did I mention Big Sur is Mac OS version 11? Then we talked about Unity on Mac, Swift UI, Xcode's document tabs, and how widgets share code across platforms. What a day. There's so much to look forward to. And now check out what's happening tomorrow. Even more cool stuff on the way. See you then.
All right.
So, I mean, basically, that's a wrap of everything that happened. We're going to break it down a bit. And one of the most important devices that most people use today, quite apart from their lives, is their mobile device. Okay. Everybody is hooked onto their mobile device, using it for one thing or the other. Yeah. And so it's it's just natural that one of the first things that at the events they talked about was iOS 14, which is an upgrade of iOS 13, which is what most Apple users are using today. Now, a number of things are going to change. It's just basically user interface and user experience that's going to change. It's going to be improved, obviously. They talked about privacy, as you saw there, but basically a lot of things are going to be changing under the hood. How you interact with your phone, how your phone interacts with you, a lot of it is going to change. You saw there, I don't know if you saw, but just a quick glimpse of something pretty interesting, which is Apple Car, or the car software, which most people use on their cars. So what you see here basically is a demo of how you can use your phone to unlock your car if, for example, you've forgotten your car keys at home. Basically, it's going to appear in the 2021 BMW 5 Series. Basically, if you've left your car keys at home, all you need is your phone, and you can use your phone to unlock your car. You can use your phone, and what's really cool is you don't need to share car keys anymore. So you can literally share your car key by granting access to someone's iPhone, and then they can also have it. One of the interesting things also was the fact that, for example, you don't want someone to drive beyond a certain geographic location. So, for example, you want them to drive only within Accra. You have a son, you don't want them to, or you have a daughter, you don't want them to go outside Accra. If you pass on those rights to them, you can basically control where they can go and where they can't go, all within the app. And I thought that was pretty brilliant. So let's go to iOS 14, which is basically on the phone. So it's basically been redesigned completely. A lot of things have been redesigned. For example, a lot of people have their phones, they have a lot of apps on it, and they have a lot of pages, for example. As you can see on your screen there, all of this can now be reorganized into an app library. And as you can see, that all of that has been put together into an app library. So basically, the phone has found a way to reorganize all your apps so that you don't have to be cycling through different pages to be able to get the apps over there.
So how does that work in terms of, previously you could put, let's say, all
you can still do that.
Software
you can still do that
into
a folder. You can still do that. This just uses the phone's AI and also sort of looks at some of the apps that you use typically and usually, and you can have them all put together in very interesting folders. And you can see that it looks pretty neat. The fact that the phone can do all of this for you. So that's one of the things that were on display at the event. One of the other things was widgets. So if you have an iPhone and you go to your home screen and you swipe to the right, you basically come to widgets, which are basically these pretty interesting graphic interfaces that display some information. What's happening is that they've been reorganized. So you can, and a lot of Android users will probably be speaking about this because they've had this for quite a while.
Widgets have been around for a while.
Widgets have been a big part of the Android ecosystem. But what's interesting with the Apple version is that you can do quite a lot with it. They have something they call the Smart Stack, which basically looks at what you typically do during the day and is able to determine which of the widgets you'll be using. So, for example, your calendar comes up at a particular time, your alarms come up at a particular time, and things like that. So it kind of works with you, to give you the best information possible. What you saw there was something they call picture-in-picture. So let's say you're watching a movie or you are watching some series and you still want to do some other things on your phone. What you basically can do now is do a picture-in-picture, and as you can see that the movie has been minimized sort of to the bottom right, and you can still interact with other parts of your phone. So basically all of that working, basically helping you to do a lot of multitasking as you go on. You can move the picture-in-picture all around the screen there and then do whatever you want to do. You can basically cycle between, as you can see, messages. Someone is sending a message, and what's interesting is you can actually move it to the side, as was done a couple of seconds ago. And when you do that, the audio is still playing. So for example, if you are following, if you are following some event, you know, like there's a live event,
Yeah.
I just want to listen to the audio while you're
background, while you're
working.
doing something
You
else.
can just push it to the left or to the right. It will stay there. The audio will still be playing, and then whenever you want, you can bring it right back out, and then you know do whatever you want to do and interact with it, as you can see being
That's really
demonstrated
cool.
there. One of the other things that was also interesting was Translate, which is a new sort of thing, as you can see, Translate there, which is something that Apple has been working on for quite a while.
Yeah.
So basically allowing you to translate different languages, and they listed the languages. There are a number of languages that are listed there: English, Mandarin, Chinese, French, German, Spanish, you know, all the languages over there. It works most likely like what Google Translate does. You know, it's just that Apple didn't have one for a while, and now it's being baked into the device itself. So you can speak directly, it recognizes speech and then translates it.
Yeah.
You can also type in what you want to say, and then it does the translation. And those were some of the biggest announcements from the iOS.
conference, yeah.
So the iOS, you know, all the announcements there, as you can see, they're fully displayed. The other thing that most people use is their laptops or their, you know, desktops. In this case, a Mac. You know, you can have a MacBook Pro or whichever, and that has also seen a big refresh. You can see a lot of design has changed in terms of how it looks and how it feels. If you use a Mac, you will probably understand what I mean. The design, a lot of the icons have been changed. They are sticking with the core design, but you know, in terms of aesthetics, it has changed a bit. You can see Control Center also has been modified just a bit, so you will be able to get access to your Control Center and be able to maneuver a couple of things with it. Now, you remember the widgets that we spoke about earlier from the iOS or from the phone. Widgets are also being brought here, so you can control a number of things there. And as you can see there, that's a widget gallery there, and you can make all your modifications. There are also a couple of announcements that were made about Safari, which is the browser from Apple. A lot of security and privacy, obviously because of the times, have been integrated into it. So over here, what you just saw there was live translation of pages. So you go to a page, it's in a different language, it automatically does the translation for you, so you can read it in a language that you're most comfortable with. And that was also one of the things. One of the biggest announcements actually from the event was the fact that Apple was moving because Apple basically has a processor or a company that provides its processor. Now it's moving it to its own, you know, processor or development of its own processor. It's called the Apple Silicon. So it's no longer going to depend on Intel, which was their provider. Apple Silicon basically rests on all the work that ARM has been working on. So for those of you who are interested in that level of computing, basically that was one of the big things. Now what this does is it allows Apple to have a lot more control, for example, about the times that they release gadgets, because if one component is finished, and for example Intel is not done with some other part, obviously they can't release the device, and so this allows Apple to have full control. It allows Apple to do what it mentioned it was going to do, which is for you to be able to have access to even your mobile apps on your laptop. So typically, currently, you can't do that. You need a different gallery to be able to do that. But when all of this is done, and this is going to take 2 years, the transition from Intel to Apple Silicon, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to access your Apple icons or your Apple apps or your iPhone apps on your machine and vice versa. So it's going to be very, very interesting the next couple of years what we're going to see.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. How soon before we see the full rollout of all this?
I mean, the rollout, especially for iOS 14, has already been done. A lot of people are already using it. If you're a developer, I'm sure you have already had access to it. Same goes for the Mac Big Sur, which is iOS 11 or OS 11. So most of these have been already rolled out for people to test and make modifications, so Apple can release a final one in about a month's time. That will be, you know, the stable version that most of us will be able to have access to.
Super. Thank you very much, Philip. Philip Kofi Ashon is the host of City Trends and also the head of production here at City TV. We're going to come back after the short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey everyone, I'm Serenity Caldwell at Apple, and here's what went down on day one at WWDC. The biggest news of the day is definitely Apple Silicon. Hold on. Let's take it from the top.
Good morning.
iOS 14 is here. There's app library and widgets on your home screen. Siri now has 20 times more facts. Hey Siri, how many facts is that? That's a lot of facts. Cycling directions are coming to iPhone and to Apple Watch and to Mac. Oh, and hello, EV routing. Digital car keys. Let me show you how it works. Mind blown. There are app clips and app clip tags. We learned to scribble in iPadOS 14. Spatial audio comes to AirPods Pro. Apple Watch now tracks dancing. There's face sharing and a new sleep app. I'm up. We learned about the importance of privacy and
Privacy principles.
home cameras have face recognition. Knock, knock. And what about macOS Big Sur? Look at that all new design. Message effects and emoji in messages. New customizable start page, privacy report, and translation in Safari. Très chouette. And did I mention Big Sur is Mac OS version 11? Then we talked about Unity on Mac, Swift UI, Xcode's document tabs, and how widgets share code across platforms. What a day. There's so much to look forward to. And now check out what's happening tomorrow. Even more cool stuff on the way. See you then.
All right, welcome back. This morning we're going to talk into gentlemen from the Graphic and Graphic Courier Services, and they're going to help us to understand the new developments that they've come up with. And I've been joined by Kweku Ofosu, who is the Sales and Circulation Manager at Graphic, and also Carl Ahiajo, who is the Chief Operating Officer, Tech Max International. All right, so good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you all doing?
Well, thank you.
All right. So help us to understand generally what it is that you do as Graphic Courier.
All right, I'll give you a background information. Graphic is generally known to publish newspapers, 6 brands.
Yeah.
But in doing that, we have a distribution system that runs throughout the country.
Okay.
So in seeking to diversify our business, we realized that we can leverage on that strength of distribution. So we came up with a Graphic Courier. It's been running for some time, but in times like this, technology is everything.
Yeah.
So Graphic decided to partner with TechMax International to bring in the latest technology to ensure that the service we provide to our customers is the best in Ghana. Yeah.
Fantastic. Your involvement in this, what has the experience been like?
Right. TechMax is an ICT-based company. We come up with IT solutions, innovative IT solutions for customers' convenience and for our clients' convenience. I think the experience has been great. Of course, Graphic is a big brand, and with our innovative technology, I think both together we're going to offer something exceptional to the
What's the general response from clientele or customers as far as the courier service is concerned?
All right, we launched the technology bit about 2 weeks ago, and people are coming in droves. I mean, corporate entities, some of the schools have even called me, restaurants and all that. So the response has been good so far, but we can do better. We're just two weeks with the technology. So
okay,
yeah.
But generally, as Graphic Courier, before the app and the technology side and things, what was the general customer feeling?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. But you see, when you run such business, the feedback you get from your customers helps you to move on and to innovate. So after getting feedback from our customers, we decided that, look, we need to go technology.
Okay.
Full haul.
Talk to us about the app itself, and where is it that one can download the app if they...
Right. So you can get the app in the Google Play Store, and then once you search for Graphic Delivery or Graphic Courier, the app pops up. You download it. Pretty easy to download. Once you download, you can either sign up or use as a guest.
Okay.
It's that flexible.
Okay. Yeah. So you catered only for the Android users?
No, not necessarily. Soon it will be in the iOS
Okay.
store as well.
Okay.
In a couple of weeks, we should find it in iOS store.
Some of us have sworn not to change phones. So. Okay, so if once you've gotten the app,
right?
Are you able to sort of track your orders? Track what is it that what's the experience like? What will one get from the app?
Right. Once you download the app and you book a service, and a message is sent to your phone, and then it has a link to track your service.
Okay.
You can actually find the route the rider took to your end. When your item is delivered also, you can actually rate the rider if you had a good experience. And, you know, this feedback also gives us some information to improve on what we are doing. So you can actually rate the riders or the dispatch persons as well. Yeah.
So Kweku, let's talk about safety. What is it that you've put in place to make sure that your riders, because we always have these issues, the challenges with Okada, and so on. Talk to us about safety.
Well, we look at the people who train our riders, MTTD.
Okay.
So for us, you can't question it.
I
They are the
see.
people who ensure that the law is enforced. And if you are training your riders, your workforce, I mean, nobody can match them. Number two, the app is also there to ensure that if you send your item to us, it gives you the OTP.
Okay.
When the rider gets to you, he cross-checks with you the
OTP for our viewers.
OTP is a code that you receive when you place in the order.
Okay.
You receive at your end. So, for instance, if I'm supposed to give you a delivery and you are not there, you can give your OTP
to someone.
The person who is supposed to receive.
Authorized to pick up.
To pick.
Okay.
So as soon as I get there and the person is able to quote the OTP to match what I have on my phone, you are good to go. We've also realized that it is not only app users who can access the service, because the research has shown that it is not everybody who owns a smartphone that buys or do business with a smartphone.
Okay.
So we've made it flexible for people to also use their phones and call directly to the call center, where you can have access to customer service people. For now, it runs from 8 a.m. to 5.
Okay.
But in future, we are seeking
That's
to do
the service?
The service, yes.
Okay.
We are seeking to do a 24-hour service, so that whilst people are sleeping, others who are awake can access the service and
All right. Yeah. Fantastic. I want to say a big thank you to you, gentlemen, for joining us here on Breakfast Daily. We've been speaking with Kweku Fusu and Carl Ahayadro, and they've been helping us understand the new graphic courier app and how it works. Up next is Hello, Mr. President. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, Jess. I've been in a relationship with this lady for almost a year, and I love her so much. I'm preparing officially to introduce her to my family. Now, during our first date, we shared many stories about our past relationships, how we acted foolishly at certain points in our lives, laughed it off. Everything was great until recently when I realized she'd been talking to one of her exes I never knew of. I confronted her about it, but she denied ever being in a relationship with him. She later confessed that it was true and apologized. She claims there's nothing going on between them as we speak. He calls her every day though, and at odd hours as well. I registered my displeasure to her and advised her to cut any form of communication with him. Now the problem is, she claims it's a tough decision for her to make and that I should give her some time to address it. Meanwhile, anytime I'm with her, this ex keeps calling. What should I do?
A woman during dating phase who cannot stop talking to her ex and concentrate on building a healthy relationship with you, no matter I'm sorry, this is not a relationship you should even gamble with.
She should choose. If she can't choose, master, sweetheart, leave it, let it go.
You don't actually have to tell her with your mouth. that choose between the two of us, that nonsense. No. Just withdraw.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subject you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act only on City TV.
This is the Hello, Mr. President segment of the show. All week long, we've asked you to sit in your communities. You've emailed policy to do. Take out your phone and record you the show.
Hello, Mr. President. Kindly post the 2017-2018 unemployed allied health professionals now. On 31st May 2020, in his latest presidential update on the coronavirus, the president reiterated the need for the government to recruit more health professionals to help strengthen our healthcare system. Dear Nanado, why is your government treating us, the 2017 batch of allied health professionals, this badly? Numerous promises, which included the restoration of health trainee allowances, have not materialized. The subsequent promise of prompt employment after the completion of our national service was another deception. Why is your government neglecting the 2017 batch of allied health professionals, disregarding their important role in the public health sector of Ghana's health system? Why did you give clearance to our colleagues, the 2017 batch of nurses, who are about 10 times our number, that's 700, and yet leave them at home and leave us behind completely while we all completed school the same year? We agitated when this happened, when we were involved in the contact tracing and were told to relax so that they would work on our clearance. It's been 2 months now and we haven't received any good response from the ministry, even after a series of engagements with our leaders. We have been at home for about 3 years now. Hashtag post 2017-2018 batch of allied health professionals now.
So there you have it. Allied health professionals been home since 2017. You think we'll engage them in a time of a pandemic. They've reached out to the Ministry of Health. They've had no response. So we went to meet with the Deputy Health Minister, Honorable Bernard Okoboy, to hear his response to your concerns. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
I again spoke to the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, and this is what he told me. So, during the lockdown, before the airports were closed, I mean the international airports or our international borders were closed, we realized that some people had entered the country before we closed the airports. And as a country, we decided that we would go back and try and trace those people and test them. And these were in the thousands. I think the figure, conservative estimate, was about 30,000. And so we acknowledged that, especially in Accra and Kumasi, we needed another cadre of staff. It's like a corps, medical corps, outside of volunteers, outside the traditional community nurses and things we have. So we recruited volunteers. Honestly, it's these volunteers that we more or less had an arrangement to pay them about 150 Ghana cedis in the beginning. And the agency that was dealing with them was the Ghana Health Service. Now, their mandate was quite specific, which was to try and help catch these people who are in the thousands. And then after having caught almost all of them, the districts, this was happening in 2 main districts or regions, Kumasi, Greater Accra. The instruction from the Ghana Health Service was that now that we've dealt with this huge number and we'll now be going after contacts of regular cases within, they should let go of those group of volunteers and then use our staff, that's Ghana Health Service staff, people who are already on government's payroll, who are community nurses, who already are engaged in outreaches like EPR, that's expanded program immunization, who are already on outreach to give education on, let's say, reproductive health and all those, preventive health issues. So that was the instruction that was given to these, especially the municipal assemblies or the municipal health directorates, district health directorates that were engaging or that engaged these people. What came out was that, some of these volunteers, of course, some were not people in permanent employment, so they really wished they had continued with the contact tracing. But, nobody has unlimited funds. And if you have staff that can do the same thing that a volunteer that you pay is doing, you naturally would go for your establishment who are already on salary. And for the established health workers, all we have to do is maybe some lunch and all that, but they are paid monthly by government. The volunteers are not on government payroll. You must pay the amount, multiply by the days, and the directorates were given some amounts. Every region got some disbursements in managing COVID, which was sent to the districts. But they could not even sustain the cadre. The cadre was close to 2,000 volunteers. And when you do the multiplication, the assemblies, even the regions could not sustain it. So the instruction was that fall back on your outreach. And as we speak, every district you go, those doing the contact tracing, if anybody says contact tracing has stopped, it is not true. There's contact tracing going on, but GHS staff, Ghana Health Service staff, for that matter, government employees are the ones carrying out the contact tracing. And so that's what the situation is. Districts that continue to engage have been encouraged to maybe consider taking some of them if they have the resources. But especially when the numbers to be dealt with, the contacts to be traced, can be handled by GHS staff, it becomes more or less extraneous to try and go for a volunteer. That is the situation we have.
Some of them have complained that they've not been paid in the past 2 months.
All right.
So that's like starting in April,
Yeah.
necessarily here.
Yeah.
And they also say, especially in the Ashanti region, some of their colleagues will get paid higher than their location. What's going on?
I think equality is key. A contact tracer.
So that was the Deputy Health Minister, Honorable Bernard Okoboy, addressing the issue of allied health professionals not being employed yet. He says that the government has employed a large majority of you guys, and eventually the rest of you will be employed. Some people also sent us messages about not being paid. We had a message from Adenta and Kumasi, and they're saying that initially they engaged the allied health professionals as volunteers, and they promised the 150 cedis, which you're due to be paid. But now they are engaging the workers of Ghana Health Service to actually do the contact tracing. That's why some of you have not been engaged the way that you were engaged before. Again, if you're experiencing any issues in your community and you want policymakers to answer to it, you know what to do. Just take out your phone and record exactly what's going on and how it's hindering your development, and send it to us at hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com. You can also send it to us via WhatsApp. The line is 0550585832. We'll take a look at our next message and then continue the conversation.
Good morning. There's so much pollution going on in our communities. Quite critical is the disposal and treatment of fecal-related waste. We at the Biogas Association of Ghana, BAG, are advocating that the government, as a matter of urgency, should abolish the use of septic tanks and replace them with biodigesters. There are enormous benefits to be derived, including making progress towards the achievement of the objectives of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The association is calling for a stakeholder engagement forum for a deeper and practical deliberation.
So there you have it. We have Daniel Osei Bonsu, who's the Vice President of the Biogas Association of Ghana, here with us. He's going to help us understand exactly what the problem is. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Explain this issue to us. What exactly is going on?
Thank you for the opportunity. Over the years, the government has actually graduated from what we know as the bad practices of open defecation. And the government has been encouraging people to do, something much more decent. And in the ladder of managing waste, we in Ghana find ourselves in where we do septic tanks. At that time, government had a lot of treatment plants almost everywhere in the country. So therefore, if you did a septic tank, your objective is that it will become full one day, and then the truck, the cesspool emptier, will come and dislodge it and take it to the treatment plant, which is somewhere. So septic tanks are off-site treatment facilities. It means you don't intend to do anything with your waste. It's just a liability at the back of your house, hoping that you spend more money for it to be taken somewhere and you pay for it. Well, Ghanaians are comfortable with that for a while. But as we speak now, it's on record that almost all the treatment facilities across the country are broken down. For a very long time, 20, 30 years ago. And the few that are there are not supporting that system, the off-site treatment system. In Accra, because you have the luxury of the sea, most of the trucks who don't end up at the few treatment plant systems that we have at, let's say, Kolegono, your guess is good as mine. Where do they take it to? So you see the government fighting a very system that it's promoting. So that is the problem. The problem is that in the absence of the treatment systems, where should people dispose of their fecal waste?
So we have someone to answer this question. Director of Sanitation at the Ministry of Sanitation is on the line, Mr. Tony Mensah. Good morning, Mr. Mensah.
Good morning, madam.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. So we're discussing what we do with our waste once the trucks pick them up from our homes. Can you provide some clarity on that for us?
Thank you very much. And thank you to your associates and your operators reporting their facts. But as we speak now, the situation has changed. For the Lavender Hill, somewhere around Kolegono, near close to the sea, that used to be a pump system of fecal slide treatment plant. It became defunct, and as a result, when the vehicle deposited their waste into the console, it was flowing directly into the sea. At the moment, there has been a replacement of that. There's now a fecal slide treatment plant at the opposite side, next to the prison's training center. So that facility, not prisons, it's a fire service training center. That facility is receiving fecal slides taken out of the tanks across the Accra metropolitan area for treatment. Besides that, there's also the mobile treatment plant, but that is for 2 weeks. That is fecal slides coming through pipe, network of pipes from rice toilets. Now, I understand or I agree with him that biogas digester is the way to go. Under the Gamma project, biogas digester has been adopted as a technology for on-site household toilet facilities. And as I speak now, we have built about 28,000 household toilet facilities, all using the biogas technology. Now these are micro systems. So they are 7 households. They are not for commercial or for large scale. There's a large scale version which is able to engage in that I know of. It's calling for the ban of septic tanks in favor of biogas technology. Of course, septic tanks have set its support over the years, but it has its own limitations.
So at what point will we get to the biogas bit of things to especially now that we need to really ensure that we're doing the right thing as far as our environment is concerned? I said, at what point will we completely be able to get rid of the septic tanks to use the biogas bit? That biodigester.
It's good because it doesn't have its value addition. The potential to generate energy for household use, which is very good. So it is important that we promote it, and the ministry is leading that process. As I mentioned, biogas technology was adopted for the Gamma Sanitation and Water Project, and that project is also going to be repeated in Kumasi very soon. So it's not as if the ministry is ignoring biogas technology, no. But as regards the ban of septic tanks, that will not have to be done by the ministry. We have building regulations. And it involves a lot of institutions.
And thank you.
Ministry now is the Ministry of Works and Housing.
Thank you very much.
What I will say is that it has to be looked into, and it should be carefully crafted. We cannot do it overnight. It has to take some time. But it's also important that
thank you very much, Mr. Tony Mensah, for the sake of time.
And then it will then be holistically looked at, and we pursue that direction.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tony Mensah, for your time. He's a Director of Sanitation at the Ministry of Sanitation. Any last words for us? I mean, we've heard from him. He says the government is going to do what it can to solve this problem.
Yeah, so the director is on the right track. We are not talking about Accra. We are talking a nationwide issue. If someone pollutes upstream,
it will end up
here. So let's leave Accra. Just look at the inland. They don't have the sea. They don't have what we have in Accra. Even in Accra, it's not the treatment facilities are not enough. And he is right. We are saying for the first time in Ghana, an association has popped up its head to support the ministry, the sector ministries, to take this bull by the horn. And it's not the sanitation ministry that will have to see to the rollover. I think it could be the Ministry of Works and Housing,
yes, they mentioned
or the local government ministry.
Okay.
In fact, it's multi-sectorial. So
we
want to take this
revisit
discussion
a step
much
further.
deeper for you to understand the impacts we are talking about. We can't wait.
Thank you very much for being with us, Daniel Osei-Bonsu, the Vice President of Biogas Association of Ghana. Thank you for staying for this segment of Hello, Mr. President and Breakfast Daily. Again, if you're observing any problems in your community and you want policymakers to answer to it, take out your phone, record a video, or send us a message at hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com. You can also reach us on WhatsApp at 0550585832. Don't go anywhere. Breakfast Daily will be right back.
For a special day or a special occasion to decree and declare your blood. but we would declare it every day, every hour, every minute, in any given time. For your blood is power unto us that believe in you, Christ Jesus. We declare the blood, the blood, the blood has conquered it all. The blood, yeah, the blood has conquered it all. We declare the blood, forgiveness, the blood, deliverance, the blood has conquered it all.
All right. So you've seen the beautiful music there by Chemfe, and he's here with us. Chemfe has been giving us good music all morning, and we're able to find out from him, where has he been all this while? Chemfe, you're welcome.
Thank you, brother.
It's good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Yeah, so people's questions on their mind, where has Chemfe been?
Oh, wow. I think for those who follow would know that I came back on the scene about 3 years ago.
Okay.
You know, with a new phase, with a new, the whole turnover, Christian music.
Okay.
And all.
Okay.
So for those who follow, you know, I've been back about 3 years ago. Yeah.
All right. Super. So what are you working on now?
I'm working on my full album, which will be out maybe in 2 months.
Okay.
Hopefully. You know, COVID has slowed things down.
Yes.
So yeah. We are hoping to release the whole album, the whole project.
Yeah.
But so far we've released 3 singles, and a new single is coming out next month.
Okay.
Nice.
As well, yeah.
Now talk to us about Freedom.
Oh yeah.
What's the story behind it?
Oh, Freedom talks about the blood of Jesus, the grace of the Father, and the quickening spirit of God. So for those of us who are Christians, we understand that the blood has set us free. And those who believe in Christ, or the real fact on the ground is that Christ is our Savior, and that those who believe in Him can go back to Him in boldness and speak to Him in relationship. So freedom means that we are back to God in relationship. Yeah.
So Chemfe, where can people follow your music or download your music and follow you?
Everywhere on social media at Chemfe. Instagram at Chemfe, Twitter at Chemfe, Facebook at Chemfe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos, live videos.
Super.
Yeah.
And where do we get Freedom?
Freedom is on all platforms, yeah, across the world.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Jifa.
It's good having you here.
Wow. And thank you for staying with us. Now, so here's the 24th.
Yep.
It means if you've not engaged that 15-year-old below child of yours, teenager of yours or child, below 15, please record yourself showing off your skills for a chance to win 10,000 Ghana cedis.
Exactly.
Keyboard Idol ends on the 26th, so please submit them now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for watching The Breakfast Daily, and my name is David Kwekusechi.
I am Jifa Ekia Amata. Stay safe, enjoy your day. We will see you at 7:30 tomorrow morning.
Take care. Bye.